Cold email isn't what it used to be. 5 years ago, you could send almost any script and get responses. 2 years ago, you needed pretty decent targeting as well. But in 2025, it's a completely different game. So if you're still using the same strategies from a few years ago, then you simply won't see any results. Now, after sending over 3 million cold emails and booking tens of thousands of sales calls for myself and my clients, I can tell you firsthand that 99% of people are doing it the old way. But here's the thing, the companies that adapt and implement all the strategies that I'm about to tell you, they're getting better results than ever. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 3 biggest shifts that have completely changed cold email in 2025 and exactly how you can use them to book more calls than ever before. Let's get into it.
Okay, so how has cold email changed in 2025? So before we get into how to do cold email the right way, it's important to know what actually happened. And it's 2 main things. Firstly, Google and Outlook have tightened policies to protect their users. So they've massively upgraded their spam detection systems to reduce unsolicited emails. They have AI-powered filters that analyze patterns across domains and email accounts that makes it very hard for bad senders to game the system. There have also been a lot of volume limit changes that have significantly lowered the amount of emails that you can send per email account per day. And also, any sign of low engagement, so whether that's unopened emails, spam complaints, or bounces, or anything else, can tank your entire domain reputation instantly. So that's from the technical side. The next thing that has happened is that people are just more resistant to cold emails. So inboxes for the past 2-3 years have been flooded with cold emails on a daily basis. And so people have learned to ignore anything that looks remotely like spam. Generic emails, they don't work anymore because people just instantly recognize them, and people now expect real personalized emails, not mass sales pitches. So these are the 2 reasons why cold email has changed and why the traditional way of doing cold email will not get you any results anymore. So the first thing we need to talk about is deliverability. So the first mistake I see most people make is that they obsess over writing the perfect email script or getting targeting right or just focusing on anything else, when in reality, if your infrastructure is weak, then even the best email is never going to reach the inbox, so everything else is pointless. Now, why is infrastructure more critical than ever in 2025? Well, Google and Microsoft, they monitor sender reputation more aggressively. And if your email gets reported as spam once or twice, it impacts all future emails from that domain. Okay. And plus, if you don't get this right, if you don't make sure that your infrastructure is perfect, then the lead list and the script, they won't make a difference. So, point being, when your infrastructure is weak, everything else does not matter. Now, what are the biggest mistakes that I see people making when it comes to infrastructure, and how can you avoid these mistakes? So they use their primary business domain, they buy cheap .org, .net domains instead of .com, they send hundreds of emails from a single domain or email account, they ignore proper DNS configuration, they don't warm up their inboxes before launching a campaign, and they don't diversify their inbox providers to spread the risk. So here's what you should be doing. You have a primary business domain. You need to go and buy as many custom domains as you want that are similar to that domain. You need to then set up 2 email inboxes for every domain that you purchase. And you need to make sure that you diversify your inbox providers, whether it's 50-50 Google or an even split between Google, Outlook, and SMTP. That's your choice. But you need to make sure that you're not reliant 100% on one inbox provider. So once you have your inboxes, you need to warm them up for 14 to 21 days. And once you do start sending emails, you need to make sure that you're only sending 10 emails approximately when you start, and then you can ramp up to around 15, 20 max, depending on the inbox provider. Okay, so these are the things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to deliverability to make sure that your emails are actually landing in the prospect's inbox. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is script writing. So this is what happens when your email actually lands in the prospect's inbox. So most people, they're using email copy strategies from 2023 or even 2024, not realizing how much has changed in the first 3 months of 2025. Now, why does traditional cold email copy fail in 2025? It's too long, it's too generic, it's too salesy, and sometimes people just use too many links. Okay, too long meaning that it's over 60 to 70 words. Okay, no one reads a 100+ word cold email anymore. If it's too generic, if your offer is too generic, if you don't have any personalization, then it's not going to work because it means it's not relevant And also, if you have phrases like free trial or just words like free or guarantee, these are spam words that are going to get flagged as spam. And so it's going to affect your deliverability as well. And then also, you mustn't include any links in your emails because that is also going to lead to deliverability issues. So, how do you write copy that actually converts and at the same time avoids spam filters? So, you make sure that you're covered from the technical standpoint, but also you will get people who want to respond to your email. Well, the way to do that is that you need to start with a personalized opener, which you can use Clay to do that. So you can reference something specific about their company, about their role, about recent activity, or it could even just be an industry relevant or a job role relevant pain point. Now, the next thing you need to do to be covered deliverability wise when it comes to the script is that you need to use spin tags to add some variation to your script. So instead of sending the same identical emails, you need to use spin tags to mix up the words and phrases automatically to make sure that you're not sending the same email over and over again. Now, once again, as I mentioned already, you mustn't include any links or attachments in the first email. And also, you need to keep your email short, ideally less than 60 to 70 words. And a little bonus here, this is also going to help you massively when it comes to deliverability, is that once you add your spin tags, you need to run the script through Email Guard to check for spam words. And you want to make sure that you have less than 1 or 2 spam words in your email copy. And that's also going to help you massively when it comes to reaching your prospects' inbox. But then again, even if you do manage to reach their inbox, you need to make it personalized. You need to make it relevant in order to actually get the response that you're looking for. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is targeting. And this refers to your lead lists. Now, even with the perfect infrastructure and great cold email copy, if you're sending emails to the wrong list, your results will significantly drop. And the reason for that is because if the list is not accurate, it means that the script that you've written is not going to resonate with that group of people because it actually resonates with a different group of people that you should be targeting. Now, the old way of building a lead list is just scraping a massive list using Apollo, ListKit, or any other database and just emailing anyone with a pulse in the same campaign. Well, that's never going to work in 2025 because that group of people just simply don't have enough shared characteristics for you to be able to write something that sounds personalized. Now, the reason why this approach is never going to work is because when the list is too broad, it means that you can't personalize the scripts because the people within that list are just too different. So the new way of building lists is that you need to build smaller, high quality lists that are based on real intent. Okay, so specifically, how can you build a targeted lead list in 2025? You need to use hyper segmentation. You need to focus on niche roles within industries. You need to enrich your data with Clay. You need to normalize your data with Clay, and you need to clean your data as well. So when it comes to segmentation, you need to break down your ICP into smaller, more targeted segments with shared characteristics. When it comes to focusing on niche roles, instead of always targeting the CEO or the owner, go for the head of growth, the head of marketing, the director of marketing. These people, they receive less emails than the CEO and the owner. The next thing you need to do, and this is a must, is you need to enrich your data with Clay. 2-3 years ago, you didn't need to do this, but in 2025, if you're using Clay, that's going to massively increase your chances of getting a response simply because you can enrich your data, you can pull certain insights from LinkedIn, company websites, and you can refer to those things in your scripts, making it a lot more personalized and relevant. Okay. Now, something that most people ignore, which is a minor detail that could make a major difference, is to normalize your data with Clay. So what this means is that you need to clean up your company names and Clay can do it for you. So for example, if you have a company that says Apple Inc., for example, it's going to turn it into Apple. Or if you have a company that's called Apple Limited and it's got a bunch of other words at the end of it, if you're just putting the company name in the script and you're not cleaning it up, it doesn't look good and people can tell that it's a cold email because no one actually refers to Apple as Apple Inc. And the last thing you need to do is that you need to clean your data. So once you build your lead list in Apollo, ListKit, or any other database, you need to export that CSV file, import it into Google Sheets, and you need to start cleaning it up. Now, the reason why you need to do this is because the data that you're going to export from Apollo or ListKit is not always going to be extremely accurate. Even if you're going after marketing companies and you set the filter on Apollo to be marketing for the industry, you'd be surprised that sometimes you will pull data that is not extremely accurate. So there might be some accounting companies in there, or there might just be some companies from other industries that are not relevant. So in Google Sheets, you need to make sure that for every column that you have, whether it's for what industry the company is in or what job titles you're going after, you need to try to clean it up as good as possible to make sure that it's as accurate as possible. Because if you've got a bunch of accounting companies in a list that you think is only marketing companies, then when those accounting companies receive your email and you're referring to marketing companies, they're going to report you as spam, and then you're going to have deliverability issues. So you need to make sure that you clean up your data.
So there you have it, the 3 biggest shifts that have changed cold email in 2025 and how you can leverage them to book more calls. Now here's the reality though, even though you know what these changes are, it still takes a lot of testing, tweaking, and optimizing to actually see results. We test over 50 different strategies every single week just to make sure we stay ahead of the curve. So if you don't want to waste time on trial and error, and you just want a proven system that brings in 10 to 20 qualified sales calls every month, click the first link below and book a quick discovery call with me. We'll have a chat, see if we're a good fit to work together, and make sure you start seeing results as soon as possible. And also, if you want to know how to send 10,000 cold emails per day without landing in spam, check out the video on the screen right now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.